psych resident at UCSF, and this is a day in the life. So right now, we're walking to work. It's 8 a.m. on a normal San Francisco summer day. I'm on an inpatient psych rotation, so I'll be seeing all patients who are admitted to our inpatient psych unit. A little more acute, patients who are a little sicker than what you would see normally in an outpatient setting, and you never know what the day's going to bring, so we'll see.
All right, so Dr. Cass, walk us through what a normal day is like for a psych resident.
So psych is practiced kind of in two separate settings. There's an inpatient setting and an outpatient setting. So right now I'm going to the inpatient psych unit. There's also consult psychiatry, which is where you're working with psych patients who are on the medical side of things. And so when I'm on the inpatient unit, essentially I get in at 8, I round on my patients, I make changes to their treatment plan, I kind of go to rounds with our team of nurses and attendings, and then I sort of just deal with the acute stuff that comes up during the day. And then this is an interesting day because at noon I'll actually go to my outpatient clinic where I see patients who are just coming to the office to see me for a half-hour appointment. And those patients are a little less sick, they're a little higher functioning, and generally you get an opportunity to do more like the psychotherapy stuff with them. So this is a fun day because I get to do kind of both parts of psychiatry.
So it is about noon right now. Petey, can you walk us through what happened today?
Yeah, so I got 2 new patients this morning. The first was a guy I actually knew, a middle-aged guy with schizoaffective disorder, who I took care of a couple weeks ago, and then he got discharged and stopped taking his medications. So he came back with pretty bad auditory hallucinations and delusions about thinking he was God. So kind of we spent the morning trying to get him restarted on his medications and coming up with sort of a discharge plan that would keep him safe for when he gets out of the hospital this time. And then I met another patient who is a younger guy who checked himself in last night with increasing depressive symptoms and thoughts of wanting to hurt himself. So it was really just getting collateral information and seeing what we could do to help this guy feel better.
All right, so what's next?
So this is actually one of the few medical fields where you get a lunch break. So right now it's noon and I don't have to be back at work till 1. And that's because at 1 o'clock I start my outpatient clinic, which is a clinic that I'm in once a week where I have a panel of patients that I take care of, just like a kind of a regular outpatient doctor. And they come to see me every 2 to 12 weeks, depending on the patient. So I've got a full load this afternoon of interesting people to take care of.
But like I say, man, always.
All right, so it is now 4:30. Petey just got out of clinic. Petey, walk us through what clinic was like today.
Yeah, so I saw a couple patients. I had a new patient who I saw for a first visit who was sort of hearing voices and had a little bit of paranoia. So we diagnosed him with schizophrenia and got him on a treatment plan for that hopefully works. And then I saw a patient who I've been taking care of for a couple months now who was pretty depressed and is doing a lot better. So like it's one of those rewarding cases where you see people get better. And then my last patient ended up canceling. So here we are a half hour earlier than I thought we'd be.
Nice. So we hear about schizophrenia a lot in pop culture. Can you explain to the viewers what that is?
Yeah, so I think what you hear a lot is like schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder, which is kind of the complete opposite of what it is. So schizophrenia is a disorder where people end up having a combination of hallucinations, where they're sort of seeing or hearing things that aren't really there, and delusions, beliefs that aren't actually true. So believing they're God, believing they can talk to God, believing they're a superhero. And obviously if you're having these kind of severe thoughts and seeing things and visions, it really affects your function and your ability to work. So these people are kind of the sickest patients we see and need the most treatment.
All right, so I'm not quite used to this because it's 4:30 and it sounds like you are done for the day.
Yeah, psych life. Yeah, we did. We did a lot of work. We helped a lot of people, but we don't need to be here till 8. So the day's over, notes are done, and I get to go home.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So residency life is a lot different than being a med student. What are some things that you wish you knew before you started residency back as a med student or even as a pre-med student?
Yeah, so psych is actually a much more diverse field than I ever thought it was. There's geriatrics, there's forensics, there's addiction, there's child. So it's not just seeing patients on an inpatient psych unit. And I think the nice thing about psychiatry is it gives you the freedom to change careers a lot. So you could do geriatrics, you could do a little bit of consult, you can do a little bit of addiction, and in psychiatry, you're never really stuck. You can always kind of try something new, and it's one of the more flexible fields of medicine.
Petey, why did you choose psych?
So when I got to med school, I thought I was going to do pediatrics. I was actually sure of it. And when I did my psych rotation, I just sort of fell in love with the field. It's basically like a primary care field, so you get to see a lot of different types of people with a lot of different types of illnesses. You get to help people who have pretty debilitating illnesses get better and get their life back. And I think for a lot of med students, by the time you're done with med school, you don't want to do more 88 to 100-hour work weeks. You want to have a life, you want to have hobbies, you want to be able to see your friends, and psych provides that as well. So it's kind of the perfect blend between work and wellness.
Why UCSF for residency?
So I think it's kind of a complicated answer. There's a lot of reasons. One is that UCSF is a great academic institution. It's known worldwide for its research and its clinical abilities. People come from all over the world to our psych clinics. There's 3 training sites. There's a VA, a county hospital, and an academic center. So we see a lot of different types of patients. I really have always loved San Francisco and always wanted to live here. So that's kind of an added benefit. And there's just kind of a lot of cool people doing cool things here. So I knew I would get to try a lot of different things and figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life.
It's not about the destination. It's all about the journey.
All right, Dr. Cass. So if you could give our viewers one piece of advice to either pre-meds or medical students, what would that be?
I think it would be, don't pigeonhole yourself to one specialty. I think there's a lot of fields out there that people don't know about before med school and that you don't try until you get to med school. And some of the core rotations once you're in med school don't include a lot of things. So I think it's just keep an open mind, try a lot of things. If you want more advice on this, I actually wrote a blog post about choosing a medical specialty on the Med School Insiders blog, so you can check that out. But I just think there's a lot of fields out there that are great and super interesting that people don't know about till they get to med school. I didn't know I was going to do psych. I'd never heard about kind of what psych was like, so I changed my mind from pediatrics and I've never regretted it.
Nice. So why did you decide against peds and why did you choose psych instead?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to like badmouth peds. There's a ton of good things about it. Like, there's nothing more admirable than helping kids. I just, on my peds rotation, decided it wasn't kind of listening to kids' chests and listening to kids' stomachs that kind of made me feel fulfilled in diagnosing their medical illnesses. It was talking to them and getting to know them and seeing kind of more about their developments and their anxiety and their depression that I found really appealing. So I think child psych for me was a more fulfilling career, while someone else may find the kind of the medical side of pediatrics more fulfilling.
Interesting. And, you know, as someone who ended up deciding on plastic surgery, was surgery ever in your realm?
I actually love surgery. I actually did plastic surgery in med school and absolutely loved it. And I did really well.
You don't have to just say that for the camera.
No. I actually tell my wife every once in a while that I should have been a plastic surgeon. So it comes up. And I think there's a lot of crossover. Like, both fields are very invasive. Your patients have to trust you to let you cut them open, but they also have to trust you to share their trauma history and their development history and their family history. So I think there's a lot of crossover. At this point, I'm super happy with my career, and I think the schedule offers me kind of what I want more than a surgical schedule. And I think the time to sit down and talk to patients is pretty rewarding for me that you don't have in surgery, because you have to spend a lot of time in the OR. But I definitely see why there are a lot of people out there who are choosing between surgery and psych. They're not as different as they seem.
Interesting. Very well said with the invasive thing. I never thought of it that way. Petey, it was awesome having you. Thank you for showing us a day in the life of a psych resident. Where can people learn more?
Yeah, well, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out in my lovely, overpriced San Francisco apartment. I'm actually one of the advisors for MedSchoolInsiders.com, so you can find me there. I'm also one of the blog contributors, so you can see my articles, including the one about how to pick a medical specialty. And you can also follow me on Instagram.
Ain't nothing changed but the weather. The dangling carrot that hang from the rear view. Your dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you. Backseat drivers got nothing but 2 cents. Shotgun riders too biased, they all liars. I should get an A for effort, I'm too tired, but I'm never giving up, that's why I'm kinda admired.